Hello, this is Brad Harvey. Welcome to our Ask the Advisor video series, where we answer your financial questions. Hello, this is Brad Harvey in Ask the Advisor video series, and today's question is, what are equity sectors and why are they important? Sectors of the equity market represent different segments of our economy, different industries, for example. So if you thought about that, the S&P 500 makes up a whole bunch of different sectors. Sectors like utilities, or technology, or healthcare, or industrials. Those are different sectors. We also talk about consumer cyclical, consumer non-cyclical. What do these things really mean? Well, at different cycles in the overall economy, different sectors tend to do better than others. And there are some sectors that tend to be growth regardless. And what would those sectors be? If you think this through logically, it makes total sense. Where has the primary growth been for the last 20 years? Well, it's been in technology. Look at companies like Apple Computer. How have they done over the years? Well, now it's very, very hard to walk out in public and not see somebody with an iPhone or earbuds that are white, things like that are iconic for the Apple brand. You didn't see those things 20 years ago, certainly not the iPhone. And so that's an example of a sector. Maybe we wanted technology, not necessarily just Apple Computer, but technology as a group. So companies would be included like Microsoft, IBM, and so forth. So that would be an example of a sector. Why is that important? Well, when you're putting together a portfolio, you can actually pick and choose different sectors that you want to focus on, or sectors that you don't necessarily want exposure to. Let's say that you are in the pharmaceutical business, so you don't want exposure to the pharmaceutical sector within your retirement investing. That's fine. That's a perfectly valid diversification play, so you would want to own the other sectors of the S&P 500 as opposed to owning the S&P 500 as a whole. So that's the difference between a sector and a broad-based index. The indexes include the sectors. In fact, you could go down a step further. There are subsectors that go into the broad sectors. So software, for example, would be a sector of technology. But it's important to understand that as you're putting together your entire investment portfolio. This is Brad Harvey with Ask the Advisor series. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for visiting our channel. We hope you found the information valuable. If you want to see more videos about investing, please click to subscribe. If you have any questions you'd like for us to answer, send us an email at him@riagroups.com. We would love your feedback.